classroom music teaching, performance, coaching, production, arts management, and community organizing experience. John comes to us today as a Fire-Up Association for Music Education and endorses the church trainer. Chris Powers has taught elementary music since 1995 and currently teaches at Cobb School.
You're good.
She received her undergraduate degree in music education as well as her product certificate from the Hart School, where she first studied with Dr. John Fire-Up. And Chris is also an endorsed teacher trainer for the Fire-Up Association for Music Education. So please welcome Chris, Ann, and John.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out this morning so early and doing the first session. As was just said, Chris and I are here today representing the Fire-Up Association for Music Education, otherwise known as FAME. We tried many different names, but that's what we came up with that. So the Fire-Up Association for Music Education, and our purpose here today is to talk about one of John Fire-Up's works, the book Learn Harmony and Improvisation, using conversational solfege. And we are so fortunate today to have the author, John Fire-Up, here with us in the room today. He's back there, he goes a little way. Often you have that privilege to have the author in the room while you present on their book.
No pressure.
So anyway, we're our hope today here with this book. Chris and I have been working on this project for a number of years. This is the upper levels part of conversational solfege, and what we'd like to do today, our intention here, is to plant some seeds with how to use conversational solfege as a way to teach harmony and improvisation to your middle school performing ensemble, to your high school performing ensemble. This wouldn't be for third or fourth grade. This would be after you've gone through book 1, you've gone through book 2, you're deeply into book 3, the yellow book, at least, before we would have the understanding, before the students would have the understanding to go and do that. So.
And you may have noticed we are in the instrumental track, but what we're going to be presenting today really applies to your choral ensemble, your band, your orchestra, your general music class with the upper grades. So, as we all know from our solfege classes, the way that we approached solfege was typically through the learning of melodies, right? So conversational solfege, for those of you that are unfamiliar with it, it's a curriculum where solfege and rhythm concepts are introduced, and then another concept is introduced and it's scaffolded, and you're building on previous learning. And while unison melodies are beautiful all by themselves, there's something to when you add harmony to those unison melodies that just enriches the experience. And if you think about the musicians that I know that I really respect that can improvise, John is a great improviser, they're able to not only to conceptualize the melody, but they're also able to hear the harmony as well. And so that gives them the understanding of how they're going to use the placement of those tones when they're improvising. So in order to be able to hear the harmonic background while you're hearing the melody is basically what we're going to be talking about today. The harmonic and the melody go hand in hand. And Dr. Fire-Up came up with this quote, and I think it sums up what we're going to be talking about today beautifully. Melody without harmonic insight and harmony without melodic insight is an incomplete experience. This book was written to complete that harmonic understanding using solfege as the vehicle.
Mm-hmm. So our introduction, the student's introduction to harmonic awareness began way back in book number 2, the orange book, where we started adding baseline melodies to the songs that they were singing. For instance, we would teach them, and the baseline melodies were always tonic and dominant functions. So we would start by teaching them baseline melodies by rote to accompany songs when we're in the orange book. And for instance, the baseline melody might sound like do, 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 so, do, do. And you can tell I'm following root tones right there. I'm tonic, I'm doing do, and I'm doing dominant, I'm doing sol. The students don't know why they're doing that though. They're just doing it, they're having a great time. Maybe we're adding some barred instruments. Maybe if you like boom whackers, you're going to use some boom whackers, something else to maybe supplement that sound if you have tone bells or something like that. They don't know why they're singing it though, but we know as teachers while we're doing it, we're setting them up, we're setting up their ears to start hearing harmonic functions of tonic and dominant. We'll expand it to other stuff later on as we go, but we're really getting that first getting those first two sounds into their ears really well. And the second reason we're doing it is because this is with upper elementary by the time you're doing the Orange Book at the earliest, and it enriches the music making experience. When we're just making music together, which is a key part of the Fire Oven approach to music education, is that we're going to spend a lot of time making music together. And so it really helps us with that, building up the fun. So let's just dive into Unit 1 of the Harmony and Improvisation book and just get some ideas for what's going to happen here. The most common tonality in Western culture we have is major, and the most common functions we're going to come across are 1 and 5. And we can see that if you just look at the first conversational solfege book, there's only one song that isn't 1 and 5. I'll let you guess what that one is. Also in Unit 1, in Unit 1 of this book here, we're going to use the major scale to explore these tonic and dominant functions as we go.
So we'd like to introduce you to Music-land. There are several streets in Music-land, and the street that we're going to explore today is Major Street. Now, the first family that moved onto Major Street was the tonic family. And the head of household in the tonic family is Do. Now, there are other family members in the tonic family, along with Do, Mi, and So also live with Do, right? So, they were the first family that moved onto Tonic Street. A little while later, another family moved in, 5 houses up, and they are the dominant family. The head of the household for the dominant family is So, but there are other family members as well. Fa, Re, and Ti are also in that dominant family, and that's how we would introduce it to students, right? They live in this house. The tonic family is Do, Mi, So, and the dominant family is So, Fa, Re, and Ti. Now, a Roman peddler came to town, and they said, how are we going to differentiate between the two houses, because they look really similar? So the Roman peddler decided, you know what, for the tonic family, let's put a 1 on the house so we know that that's the tonic family. And then the Roman peddler put a 5 because it was 5 houses up the street. There's a little 7 there too, but we'll talk about why that's there later on. So we talked about the fact that Do is the head of the tonic family. You can introduce those members in any order. You can introduce the family members from So to Mi, So, Mi, Do. You can even introduce them from the upper notes. Do, So, Do. And the lower notes as well. So, Mi, Do. You can introduce them in any order. Basically, what I would have the students do here is just echo some patterns using Do, Mi, and So, just so they could get that tonic sound in their head. And of course, we would do the same thing with the dominant family. The dominant family, we know the head of household is So, but also along living in that house is Fa, Re, and Ti. And you can introduce those tones in any order as well. When I have the students echo the patterns, that is a step 2 activity, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. So, we're echoing those patterns just to get those tones and build that vocabulary of sound in the students' ears. One other thing that we're going to do is when we hear Do, Mi, So, we're going to show the students this, 1 finger, because that's going to represent the tonic. And of course, when we're introducing the 5, we're going to show 5 fingers. Now, you probably are noticing, and the students will notice as well, there's a tone that lives in both houses. So how do you decide which tone, does it belong to the tonic family or does it belong to the dominant family? So Dr. Fireoven came up with this great little story that really resonates with the students. So there's a mailman who delivers the mail on Major Street. And it's a really casual neighborhood, and they only put the first names on the mail. So the mail might go to Do, and we know that if the mail is labeled to Do, it's going to go to which house? The tonic house. But for So, how do you decide where the mail is going to get delivered? Because if So is by itself, and you hear a pattern that goes So, 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 more often than not, it's going to go to the tonic house. However, if the families are walking down the street and so is traveling with mi and do, well, we know that that so belongs to the tonic house. But if so is walking down the street with fa or re or ti, that so is going to be hanging out in the dominant house. So, as we said, when so is all by itself, what family will it go to? The tonic family. So, for those of you that may be unfamiliar with the conversational solfege 12-step process, do people here have an understanding of the conversational? Are you all conversational solfege people, or is anybody new to the idea? Great, great. So we would just like to take you through what the 12 steps of conversational solfege is. It's a scaffolded way of introducing tonal or rhythmic concepts. So, in this first box, we have readiness. There's only one thing that we're going to be doing in the readiness box, and that is we're going to be singing songs. We are going to be playing games. We are going to be building a library of repertoire for students that they can use a little bit further down the road. So step one really is have fun. That's all we're doing at step one. That's readiness. This second box is really where we spend the bulk of our time with our students. In the conversational solfege box, we're echoing patterns. Remember earlier I referenced, step two, that's where we're going to be echoing some patterns. Step two is exactly that. So I might just have you echo so, mi, do,
So, mi, do,
so, fa, re.
so, fa, re.
That's what we do at step two. It's just rote echoing. At step three, we're taking those patterns, but now we're removing the syllables and we're singing them on a neutral syllable. So if I went ba, 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 you would go
Do, mi, so.
and I would also indicate this to remind us, hey, that's in the tonic family. And if I went ba, 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 you would decode
So, fa, re.
and we would remind students that that is the dominant. So if we can do that with familiar patterns that we've practiced, really the big test is, can students do those same things with unfamiliar patterns? And that's what step four is. Patterns that they've never heard before, can they decode them by ear? And then, if they are capable of doing that, the highest form of musical thinking is really step five. Can students now manipulate those tones into their own patterns? And that's what creating is. Really, if your students can do that, you're golden. I mean, it's amazing to see what students are capable of and how they can improvise with real intent and understanding. And that's the ultimate goal. So those are the steps we're going to be talking about today in the Harmony Improvisation book. But if you are interested in learning more about conversational solfege, there is also a reading component where they will read those familiar songs and patterns. And then, of course, they're going to do some sight reading, which is step 8, decoding things that they haven't seen before. And then the writing steps are really just the conversational solfege steps, but you're adding a pencil or a writing manipulative into the hands of the students. Because if they can decode a pattern, ba, 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 so, mi, do, now just take your pencil and write it down. That's basically what the writing steps are all about. Writing with intention, writing with true understanding. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say is, how can this be applied to instruments? Since we're in the instrumental track, I think it's important to make that connection. If your students are musically literate and they can sing all of this, I can tell you from experience, I am a 4th and 5th grade band teacher, and my students use conversational solfege and they're able to decode 3-note patterns, 5-note patterns. The minute you teach 3 or 5 fingerings, they can play probably 14, 15 songs by ear because they know how to decode, and once you teach the fingerings, since they're able to sing it, they're able to sing it through their instruments as well. So it's really important to remember the instrumental application to this. And I love this. Dr. Feierabend says, we want students to be able to express music through their instruments rather than using their instruments to decode what it should sound like.
Okay. Thank you. We can all agree, sorry, I started here. We can all agree that probably the foundation of the Kodai approach is the 3 Ps, right? You know, preparation, presentation, and practice. And I just want to take a minute and just show how that works out here across the 12 steps. It's all there, it's encoded down in the different 12-step pattern here. So take a look here. We're still continuing to do our preparation. That happens in our readiness step right there, where we're learning songs, we're playing games, we're just enjoying music. But we're also setting up the repertoire that we're going to use throughout to teach the elements. So then the second time, the second P, sorry, I don't have my clicker, I'm just lost. As our presentation steps, those presentation steps all happen here, but they happen not just once, but 3 times. The first time we have it presented orally, and then we have it, the reading box, we have it presented in what we're going to see in front of us, when we add some notation in front of us, and then we'll present it the third time when we put a pencil in their hand, and we start practicing notation. And that third part of this, the practice part, happens here also in the 3 boxes here. We're going to practice, but we decode familiar patterns, and then we're going to decode unfamiliar patterns, and then we're going to improvise. We're going to make up patterns of our own. It happens again in the reading box, where we read familiar patterns, and we're going to read unfamiliar patterns in songs. And again here at the writing box, we're going to write unfamiliar patterns in songs, and then familiar first, and then unfamiliar after that. So our steps are all firmly encoded there. Here's another way of looking at the 12 steps, is a vertical sort of way. And what the magic of conversational solfege is that you have scaffolded learning happening with those steps. You can move in a very micro way and always know exactly where you're at. And if you get to a class and you start running an activity with them, maybe on say step 4, and it's not going well, you can easily pivot back to step 2 or 1, step 2, and take them right back up and standardize learning in the room, kind of get everyone kind of back on the same page very easily, very quickly. You don't have to tear up your lesson plan and say, oh, do it again next week. You can easily pivot right there on the moment. That's one of the beauties of this. And also, the scaffolded learning, I mean, I had to take every child, I had to have a grade on every child every day. And this gave me a chance to really dial in and assess on every single step can be assessed so easily, I think is what I'm trying to say here. Also, I just want to point out, here's another way, Chris made this beautiful chart here about just showing us, this is on her wall in her classroom, so the students can see, oh, this time we're only working with our ears. And then when we're down here in this step, you have a clothespin, right? For each class has a clothespin, and they can see where they're at that day. Oh, now we're working with our ears and our eyes.
And it also lets the students communicate to others to help educate others in the classroom. We're on step 5, so we're working on improvisation right now. And if an administrator comes in the room and they ask the students, what are you doing? The students have the vocabulary right at their fingertips to say, well, today we're working on improvisation. Today we're working on creating our own patterns using do, mi, and sol. So that's the other great tool. It's an administrator-friendly poster. So as we went through that 12-step poster just a second ago, earlier I said that we, in the Harmony Improvisation book, will only be focusing really on the first 5 steps, the ear steps. Here's a general overview of what we're going to be covering in the Harmony Improvisation book. At step 1, remember step 1 was just learn all of the repertoire that you're going to be covering in the tonic and dominant unit in major tonality. At step 2, we're going to echo some 1 and 5 patterns, and we're going to do that in just a moment. And also remember, we're going to show 1 finger for the tonic and 5 fingers for the dominant. We're also going to teach by rote students some baselines to some of the familiar repertoire that they know. So we'll actually spoon feed them the answer of what the baseline melody would be for the songs that we're going to be doing. My favorite part is that we get to do some vocal chording. I recently shared with John Feierabend that my upper level choir, we've been experimenting with some vocal chording. It is their favorite part of our rehearsal right now, and we're going to get to experience that today as a group. And so that's what we do at step 2, where we're teaching everything by rote. We're giving the students the answers. At step 3, decoding, we're now going to see if they can, if they've built up that library of sounds, and if now they can, if I sing it on a neutral syllable, can they figure out what the syllables are that are attached to the sound? We're going to teach you how to teach students how to discover a bass line, and it's brilliant, it's really fun. And we're going to experience that in just a second. We're going to study the harmony of familiar songs by ear. And we're going to also do a little bit more vocal chording. Step 4 is basically what we're doing at step 3, but now we're going to introduce repertoire that they don't know. Now, can they discover the bass line of the new melody? Can they study the harmony? And can we add some more vocal chording? And then, if you notice, the first 4 steps really center around the harmony piece of the book. Step 5 is really where you can see if it's all been synthesized, and now can students take what they have learned, have they built up enough repertoire, library of sound, and now can they apply everything to creating their own tunes. And we're going to introduce you to the courageometer in just a little bit. And music teachers, I bet you're going to be pretty courageous. And so that's what is basically covered in our harmony and improvisation book.
Let's step into one and learn some repertoire, right? We'll just get some songs ready for us. Is this still Elvis down here?
I feel like I should have had the tuning fork. But I mean, I saw somebody had tuning fork earrings and I was kind of jealous.
Listen to my song. I'm going first. You'll probably know the song, which is going to cover these basic things. Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Way down yonder in the pawpaw patch. Familiar? Mm-hmm. Let's sing it together. Ready?
Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Way down yonder in the pawpaw patch.
Okay.
If only it were that easy.
Right.
With our students. Please come back with us. Here's another tune. Riding here to get married, get married, get married. Riding here to get married with a ransom, a tansom, a cinnamon tea. Is that familiar? Okay, listen to my song again. Riding here to get married, get married, get married. Riding here to get married with a ransom, a tansom, a cinnamon tea. Echo me. Riding here to get married, get married, get married.
Riding here to get married, get married, get married.
Riding here to get married with a ransom, a tansom, a cinnamon tea.
Riding here to get married with a ransom, a tansom, a cinnamon tea.
Again, never that easy. Thank you so much.
You want to sing the whole thing through?
Oh yeah, let's sing the whole thing through. Here we go.
Riding here to get married, get married, get married. Riding here to get married with a ransom, a tansom, a cinnamon tea.
So before we do our next song, I just wanted to point out that with students, I would model it several times because I really want them to catch the tune. Echoing is a technique that we can use, but if they can catch the whole tune, if they can effortlessly assimilate the tune, it means that they've heard it enough, and then they can just sing the whole tune. You might have to work on the little tongue twister part at the end, but modeling the song as much as possible is great. We're doing it in the speed version here for you.
And if they had been doing first steps all along the way, it would have been normalized from the very beginning. Catching tunes, what we call it, catching tunes. And so, let's go on, let's do a third song here. Bitty Bitty, is this familiar? I know a different version in the back of my head from my past, so I have to be very careful with the words. And John always says to me, stop swinging it. So, I'm trying. Are we still here right there? Bitty bitty, hold fast, lost my gold ring. Want to go to Kingston, come back again. Bitty bitty, hold fast, lost my gold ring. Want to go to Kingston, come back Does it sound familiar? Okay, let's all sing it. Ready?
Biddy, biddy, hold on, lost my gold ring. One will go to Kingston, come back again. Biddy, biddy, hold on, lost my gold ring. One will go to Kingston, come back again.
Wonderful. Who knows? Hold on. Who knows? Yep. Okay. That's my first revealing. I know it's hold fast. So I saw there was a couple people like, they don't know this. Let me sing it once again. Biddy, biddy, hold on, lost my gold ring.
Biddy, biddy, hold on, lost my gold ring.
One go to Kingston, come back again.
One go to Kingston, come back again.
Biddy, biddy, hold on, lost my gold ring. One go to Kingston, come back again.
Biddy, biddy, hold on, lost my gold ring. One go to Kingston, come back
Let's do the whole thing.
again.
Ready? From the beginning.
Biddy, biddy, hold on, lost my gold ring. One go to Kingston, come back again. Biddy, biddy, hold on, lost my gold ring. One go to Kingston, come back
Okay,
again.
I think we're ready with that one. We have one.
So if you're familiar with conversational solfege, you know that the concept of 6/8 is introduced in book 1 pretty quickly because it's very prevalent in the nursery rhymes that are found in the Mother Goose nursery rhymes, right? In fact, there's a greater prevalence of 6/8 songs and rhymes than there is of 2/4, and that's why it's introduced so early in conversational solfege. So we always want to make sure that if we're teaching 2/4, we also want to teach a little bit of 6/8 to complement it. So listen to my song. Sing me another before we depart. Sing to the praise of our musical art. Sing, 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 sing. Do, 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 so, do. Will you echo me, please? Sing me another before we depart.
Sing me another before we depart.
Sing to the praise of our musical art.
Sing to the praise of our musical art.
Sing, 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 sing.
Sing, 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 sing.
Do, 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 so, do.
Do, 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 so,
I'll
do.
sing the whole thing for you to synthesize it. Just sing it in your head. Sing me another before we depart. Sing to the praise of our musical art. Sing, 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 sing. Do, 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 so, do.
Sing me another before we depart. Sing to the praise of our musical art. Sing, 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 sing. Do, 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 so, do.
Let's just divide the group right here. Let's just do it in 2 parts for today. Here we go. Let's start right here.
Sing me another before we depart. Sing to the praise of our musical art. Sing to the praise of our musical art. Sing, 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 sing. Sing me another before we depart. Sing me another before we depart. Sing to the praise of our musical art. Sing, 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 sing.
Thank you so much. So that was a lovely little round that you could introduce just at step 1. Just remember, step 1 is just learning the repertoire. It's that simple. So at step 2, we are going to echo some patterns. Basically, I sing the syllables for you, and you just echo them back. Please echo me. Do, mi, so.
Do, mi, so.
So, fa, re.
So, fa, re.
Ti, re, so, fa.
Ti, re, so, fa.
Mi, so, do.
Mi, so, do.
This next one's fun for the early learning. Do, so, do.
Do, so, do.
Ti, so, fa.
Ti, so, fa.
Re, fa, re.
Re, fa, re.
So, mi, do.
So, mi, do.
So you'll notice that as we were echoing the patterns, I was modeling the 1s and the 5s for you. And it's important to remember that at this step, only the teacher is seeing this. I put it up there for you just as a guide, but remember, we're learning this all by ear. At step 2, we will also learn some bass lines to some familiar songs. Do you remember our song, Paw Paw Patch? Will you please sing that for me? The where, oh, where?
Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Way down yonder in the paw paw patch.
Listen to my song. Do, 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 so, 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 so. Do, 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 so, so, do, do. Will you sing my song?
Do, 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 so, 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 so. Do, 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 so, so, do, do.
Will this part of the room please sing that? Will this part of the room sing Paw Paw Patch?
Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Way down yonder in the paw paw
Lovely.
patch.
And of course, we would have the students experience both parts. You would get to sing the bass line, you would get to sing the melody, but for the sake of time, we're going to move on. Here, you see a little chart that you can use with your students to help them visualize the bass line. So whenever you see the 1, you're going to sing the do, and whenever you see the 5, you're going to sing so. So this is basically the process of teaching a bass line by rote. I modeled it for you. I said, listen to my song, and then you were able to sing it back. Let's try a different song.
Riding Here to Get Married. You all remember that song? Listen to my bass line that goes with this. Do, 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 so, so, do, 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 so, so, do, do. Can you sing that?
Do, 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 so, so, do, do. Do, 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 so, so, do.
Do it once again, ready? Split the room now. You get the tune, you get the bass line. Ready?
Riding here to get married, get married, get married. Riding here to get married with a ransom of dance and a cinnamon tea.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's keep on going here.
So the final thing that we do at step 2 is we teach some vocal chording by rote. And we're going to use that song that we were just using, Riding Here to Get Married. So let's divide it into 3 parts. Perfect. This works out great. It was like it was, I should set up my classroom like this. So how about you all be the part 1? Can you do the, I'm sorry, it's the boring part. So we're in this is the tonic. So, and for the 5 you're singing so, and for the 1 you're singing so. Okay, so for part 2 you're going to be the mi, and we go to dominant fa, mi, and of course part 3 is do, ti, do. John, you can sing the bass line.
Okay.
Okay, great. So why don't we, let's try just holding out that first chord. Okay, if that happens with your students on the first try, it's something amazing. That was great. Okay, let's try the 5 chord. Beautiful. That's a nice way to start a Saturday morning. So now, can we remember that bass line for Riding Here to Get Married? And let's try singing that with the solfege part. Solfege on your part. Here we go. Thank you. Now, can I sing the melody while you do that, please? Here we go.
Riding here to get married, get married, get married. Riding here to get married.
on the words. So if you're part 2, you go, riding here to get married, get married, get married. Let's try that. All know what to do? Here we go.
Riding here to get married, get married, get married. Riding here to get married with a ransom and handsome a cinnamon tea.
The Lennon sisters.
I know. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So,
I'm on. Okay. So now this time here at step 3, we're moving into decoding. We're going to start checking to see if you remember what we taught you often before. Up here at the very first step, we're going to decode some patterns, and we're going to ask you that you show this. Now, what's going to be different here with decoding is I'm not going to tell you the answer. I'm going to do it on neutral syllable and expect you to decode that. So here we go. We're still on F. That's still our, yep. Okay, great.
it's F adjacent.
F adjacent. Yeah.
For Saturday morning.
Yeah, exactly. It's really, I'm on the West Coast. This is so really just, I'm going to sing to you on a neutral syllable. Just when you answer, when you decode, I need you to show me so I know that I can see everyone's thinking the same thing. So show me your function as you go. Bum, bum, bum.
Do, mi, so.
Looking around, yep. Bum, bum, bum.
So far, re.
Bum, 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 bum.
Ti, re, so far.
Bum, bum, bum.
Mi, so, do.
Bum, bum, bum.
Do, so, do.
Bum, bum, bum.
Ti, so, far.
Bum, bum, bum.
Re, fa, re.
Bum, bum, bum.
Mi, so, do.
That's wonderful. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to discover a bass line. We talked about it a little while ago. Our song we're going to use is Bitty Bitty. And what I need you to do is, I want you to sound, you're going to use the same functions, do and so. Okay? And I want you to sing do over and over, because we know that's going to be the start of the song, right? That's the one chord. I want you to just sound do like this. Do, do, do. Just keep sounding it over like you had a tone chime, just sounding over. And when it doesn't fit, I want you to move to sol. When it doesn't sound right. I found it's best when teaching this to do it really, not really slowly, but slow enough because we're thinking for the first time. There's a lot going on, and we're firing on all levels at that moment. So I always do it too fast, thinking everyone already knows what I'm thinking. So here we go. I'll be the tune. I need you to sound, be the bass line. We're going to discover it. And when you don't know what's going to happen, when it doesn't sound right, switch to sol. When that doesn't sound right, switch back to do. Riding, okay? We're sounding. Riding here to get married, get married. Riding here to get married with a ransom, handsome, cinnamon tea. Again. Riding here to get married, get married. Riding here to get married with a ransom, handsome, cinnamon tea. And we just discovered the bass line. And it happens to fit other bass, match some other bass lines, which we already have there, doesn't it? Just want to make sure. Okay. What's that?
Study the harmony.
Oh, and now we're going to study the harmony. That's right. So we're not going to write it down though, right? This is all ears. So this is where harmonic analysis is going to be a little bit different than if you're paper trained and you just want to see it in front of you later. Right. So let's go. Our very first tones, right? Right. Just check our answer. So we have. We'll switch to solfege here at this moment. Do 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 mi so do. What's our function there? Re so fa mi. Yeah. So re so fa. And then mi, do, going on. Do, 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 mi, so, do, re, so, fa, mi, do. Did I actually recompose the song?
Yeah.
I did. Wait, get back to it. Okay, re, fa, mi, come back, oh, re, fa, re. There's a little passing tone in there. Re, mi, right? So re,
I was
re,
thinking of
fa,
riding here
re.
to get married, because that's what was in my brain.
Oh!
No, but
Oh, we're doing bitty bitty.
You're doing the right thing.
Come back again.
We came right back.
Okay, and then the next, okay, so I'm still here. The next thing is a vocal chord. Okay, we checked our harmony, now we're gonna go into vocal chording.
Well, before we do that,
Oh,
if you notice, that had the same bass line as one of our other songs. And when that happens, something really beautiful can take place. And that's when we can talk about partner songs. Because partner songs are just songs that simply share the same bass line. So, let's do this. Can you all sing, "Bitty bitty hold on, lost my gold ring"? Can you, right here, sing, "Riding here to get married"? And can you sing the top part of so, 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 so? And can we have our mi's and fa's and our do's and t's, and you hold down the bass line.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have all our parts? You know your assignment? Okay, here we go. Try it again. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. And one thing I do want to remind you of is at this point, you're not making anything up. You're not improvising, right? I'm assigning you the parts that you're going to be doing because we're really focusing in these first few steps on building our ears and learning the harmony. Improvisation will come when we have enough of the scaffolding built. So, in order to do harmony, we have to be secure. In order to do improvisation, we have to be secure in the harmony.
So another song, discover another song. Sing Me Another. Right? Number
Yeah.
2? Yep, Sing Me Another. We'll discover this bass line. It's a canon, so we know it's going to be a repetitive harmony. It's going to be very short, rather than over many beats. So you discover the bass line. I'll sing it, the tune. I'll give you a hint. The last line gives it away. So you gotta go. Sing me another before we depart. I can start that again. I started to help you, and I was like, don't. I'm gonna keep my hands to myself here. Sing me another before we depart. Sing to the praise of the musical art. Sing, 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 sing. Do, 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 so, 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 do. Let's do that again, buddy. Sing me another before we depart. Sing to the praise of our musical art. Sing, 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 sing. Do, 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 so, 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 do. I think we can get it one more time. I think we need it one more time. We're so close, but we're not always agreeing on the second beat. Okay, let's try it again. So, cue. Ready? Sing me another before we depart. Sing to the praise of the musical art. Sing, 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 sing. Do, 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 so, 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 do. In the interest of time, I'm just going to leave it right at that. We won't be rehearsing that here today. So we know that it was going do, do. So let's just check our work, okay, here. Let's study our harmony and make sure we got the right, analyze our tune. So we'll do it together. Ready? Do, 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 re, 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 do, ti, do. Don't be distracted by that do in the middle there. It's just a passing tone. Re, do, ti, do. Mi, 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 fa, 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 mi, re, mi. So, 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 so. Do, 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 so, 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 do. You probably noticed all that 5 on that sol. Why didn't we get distracted by 1? because you notice that, like, why didn't we switch? We said earlier that most of the time, whenever you have a sol, it's going to belong to one. But this time, because of the canon, the harmonic function has to match up very closely to the melody. So it feels forced. That's where we were struggling. It was at that 5. It felt like, oh, it should actually be a 1 chord. You saw people like this, like looking around and stuff. And that's what I was looking at. I was like, yeah, we got it. Okay, I got 4 5s over here. And I got 4 5s over there. Oh, we're still working on 1 there. Okay. So just with kids, it's again and again and again. You just do it again. It's hard. This one is tough. This particular one is a trickster. So
we're going to move on to step 4. Step 4 is repertoire that we have not talked about yet. So listen to my song. Green, green, green is everything I'm wearing. Green, green, green is everything I own. I have chosen green to be my color, for I have a hunter for my love. I have chosen green to be my color, for I have a hunter for my love. While I'm singing that, I would like you to think the bass line. A big component in conversational solfege is giving opportunities for inner hearing. And so I would like you to do some inner hearing right now. I'll give you a hint. It starts on do. Green, green, green is everything I'm wearing. Green, green, green is everything I own. I have chosen green to be my color, for I have a hunter for my love. I have chosen green to be my color, for I have a hunter for my love. I would like you to inner hear it again, but I would like you to show me your work. You're going to show me your work by, if you think it's tonic, do, mi, sol, you're going to show me this. And if you think it's dominant, sol, fa, re, ti, you'll show me this. Are you singing yet? No. You're inner hearing and you're showing me your work. Here we go. Green, green, green is everything I'm wearing. Green, green, green is everything I own. I have chosen green to be my color, for I have a hunter for my love. I have chosen green to be my color, for I have a hunter for my love. I think most of you have it. Let's try. You sing it for me while I sing the melody. You are singing the bass line. Here we go. Green, green, green is everything I'm wearing. Green, green, green is everything I own. I have chosen green to be my color, for I have a hunter for my love. I have chosen green to be my color, for I have a hunter for my love. Lovely done, and you'll notice that it's the same bass line as singing another. For the sake of time, in our class, we would also, we've discovered the bass line, we would study the harmony, we would add vocal chording, but I think it's time for us now to take everything that we've done harmony-wise, and now let's improvise. We've built the scaffolding. Would this take place in 1 week in your classroom? No. This is a progression. But as you can see, we're laying the groundwork for meaningful improvisation.
improvisation, up until now, we haven't been improvising. We've been telling you, sing this, now sing this, now sing this, which is what we do in music class most of the time, right? We tell them what to sing. And the cool thing I really loved about the Fire Oven approach is every day you ask the kids to make up something for you. I know I always struggle doing improvisation in class, but this is a way of trying to fit it in as often as possible. So at that point, we're going to ask you now to start choosing tones. As we move into the courage meter and move through the levels, you're going to start making choices of your own. It'll fit, of course, it'll be appropriate choices.
How brilliant is this little courageometer? It gives the students a visual for they can be as cautious or as courageous as they would like to be. It's a great little graphic.
And all the steps that correspond to it. Let's go and jump into some of those steps that we have here. Here, challenge number 1 here, when we're looking here at the chord chart, we've seen this now already, we're going to ask you to choose one tonic tone and one dominant tone. So if you're a tonic tone, you can choose either do, mi, or sol. Before I was saying, okay, you're do, and you're mi, and you're sol. Now anyone can choose in the room. Choose whichever one you want. That's going to be your tone, but we're going to ask you to keep the same tone for the entire song. So if you choose mi, you get to keep mi. If you choose sol, you get to keep sol. And then I also need to ask you to choose a dominant tone. So think about that for a second. What are you going to be? Are you going to be the one who goes mi up to fa? Or are you going to be the one who goes do down to so? Or are you going to be the one who goes so? So think about that just for a second, which one you want to be. And let's go and try it. I'll sing Paw Paw Patch, right? This is Paw Paw Patch, yeah. And I want you to pick one of your two tones. And every time you got a tonic function, sing that tonic tone that you chose. Try to keep the same one, okay? You got your tone? You got your idea? We're still here on F, I think, right? Probably. You're F-ish? Yep, okay. I'm Paw Paw. You're improvising. You're choosing, right? Ready? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Way down yonder in the fall. One more time. Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Way down yonder in the fall patch. Fantastic. That was really well done. That's nice. That was beautiful. Okay, challenge number one. Okay, 2. Oh,
And because we let you choose, that's improvisation. It was the easiest possible improvisation, but it's meaningful improvisation. You wanna? So Dr. Byram created a courageometer. The great thing about the courageometer is it allows you to be as cautious or as courageous as you'd like to be. You just completed challenge 1. The challenge was accepted. You threw it down. You did awesome at it. So now we're going to take a look at the first 5 challenges for the sake of time. And if you can even get through these first 5 challenges with your students, you're doing something incredible. So at level 2, we're now going to select 2 or more tones per chord function. So if you're looking at the tonic, you might pick do and mi, or you might pick so, do. It's your choice. You can pick 2 chord functions, and the same thing is true for the 5 chord. You can pick so and fa. Can I show you my improvisation? John, will you sing Paw Paw Patch? And I'll show you my improvisation. Here we go.
Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Way down yonder in the Paw Paw Patch.
So there's my little improvisation for Paw Paw Patch. I was not so courageous. I just stuck to I didn't do the 2 or more. I just did the 2. Would you give it a try? I'll sing Paw Paw Patch and you improvise. Here we go. Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear little Nellie? Way down yonder in the Paw Paw Patch. Lovely.
That was level 2.
Yes, level 2.
Moving up here to level 3, we're going to ask you to select a different tone on every beat. So you get to use the whole spectrum. How about I sing once again? I'll do Paw Paw Patch. Oh, for instance, if I was going to do it, here's just give an example if I was doing this. Would you sing Paw Paw and I'll do it? Okay, you ready? Do, mi, sol, do, re, ti, sol, sol, mi, sol, do, mi, sol, sol, do,
Patch. Let's have you try.
We'll sing Paw Paw.
We'll
Okay.
sing, and you do your improv.
Different tone on each function, right? Where is dear little Nellie? Where is dear little Nellie? Where is dear little Nellie? Way down yonder in the Paw Patch. Just for fun. No, don't do that right now. Don't stay focused.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. So we wouldn't want students to have one try at that, right? We would want to give them multiple opportunities to experiment with it. So now, challenge level 4, now we're going to try to use 2 chord tones on some of the beats. will you sing Paw Paw Patch? And I'll just model for you an improvisation, okay? Here we go.
Where, oh, where is dear Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear Nellie? Way down yonder in the Paw Patch.
So there's just a little improvisation. Two sounds on one beat. Should we give it a try? You can just do 2 sounds one time. And you've done level 4 of the courage meter. You could do 2 sounds on every single beat. It's up to you. Here we go. Where, oh, where is dear Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear Nellie? Where, oh, where is dear Nellie? Way down yonder in the Paw Paw Patch. Way to go with level 4. Let's move on to
Moving on to level 5. Level 5 now, we're going to add a rhythmic ostinato. We're going to put you inside of a framework that you have to maintain. So let's take this, how about this little, let's use this pattern. Okay, that's our pattern. We're not going to clap it, but we're going to improvise using that rhythm. Okay? Keep that rhythm, each line gets that rhythm, you know, that ostinato, but then you're going to make up, you're going to use your chord tones. You ready? I'll sing Paw Paw. Well, actually, I should probably show you, shouldn't I? So,
I'll sing Paw Paw. You
okay, you sing Paw Paw? Okay. So here we go. Mi, sol, do, mi, re, ti, sol, sol, sol. Mi, sol, do, mi, sol, mi, do.
Okay, let's give it a try.
Okay. Where, oh, where is dear Nellie?
Should have moved on. Now we're going to just talk about the other 5 levels, right? We have 5 more levels. If you got to just those first 5 levels, would you be doing something incredible in your classroom with your students? Absolutely. But if you have the gifted and talented program at your school, if you want to start investigating the other 5 levels, you can add upper and lower neighbors, add passing tones, suspensions, retardations, anticipations, and add accented passing tones. Don't you wish that your classes in college took you through these levels of the courage meter? I think a lot of us would be less intimidated by improvisation if it was broken down just like this for us.
It's like teaching counterpoint and voice leading by ear instead of by paper. Remember in theory class and you had to write your exercises, and then you go to the piano and figure out how they sounded? You know?
But now you can express it through your voice instead
Right.
of using your instrument to figure it out for you.
Do all the work in your head ahead of time.
Yeah.
And it'll sound good too.
Yeah.
Of course, it isn't just tonic and dominant and major. This book covers so much. After tonic and dominant, we move on, we add a subdominant to that. And as you can see here, as we move through the scope of what's inside the book, we always start tonic and dominant, so we move on to harmonic minor using tonic and dominant, which makes sense, and then we add, the next chapter will add a subdominant to that. The unit 4 here, that's also harmonic minor, we add subdominant. We move on to Aeolian, which is like natural minor, right?
And we go through all the modes.
Right, each of those, Aeolian, and you can see we go through all the modes down through that, down to Lydian.
So, now here is our,
That's right here.
oh, there's the book. So if you'd like to learn more, it just so happens that we're right outside of the GIA booth, and they have this for sale.
Join FAME. FAME is a professional organization for music educators. We have, today, being with us today, we have a $10 off coupon. If you use the code 24FAME, you get $10 off. It's a $60 membership for the year. Inside that, member access, we have a website full of all sorts of activities. We produce new content each month, dealing with everything from infants all the way up through, this kind of stuff, which could be junior high and high school. Also, we have a newsletter. Here it comes out, it comes out all the time actually, in different capacities. But we have a newsletter, it's free of charge, it's open to everybody. And please feel free to scan that. Also, if you want to connect with other people, we have a Facebook page called Fire Urban Fundamentals, about 12,500 really committed music teachers up all day and night, talking all around the world. Wake up in the middle of the night with a panic, and how am I going to teach 1 in 5 chords? You'll find people who want to geek out with you about this at any time of day. And we have a conference, and we're so excited to be back in person. 2020 was rough. We watched our conference was just months away, and the whole thing just fizzled out in person. We're so excited to be back in person after doing some virtual events for the past 4 years now, I guess it's been. And so please, there's also, if you want to take, there's postcards out at the GIA table if you just want to kind of tuck it in your pocket. It is also right here in Chicago, happening July 19th through 21. It starts on that Friday night about 5 o'clock or so, and then we go to Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. So it works out well for just kind of popping into town and back out again.
And our conference chair is here, Emily Marr.
Yes.
So if you have questions for her,
Yep.
you can go ahead and ask her. And then one last plug. The University of Hartford at the Hart School of Music, we offer a Kodai certification program with a fire robin focus. So if you're interested in learning more about how this fire robin approach ties in so beautifully with the principles of Zoltan Kodai, please join us at the Hart School. We also offer at the Hart School the Fire Robin experience, where if you want to be trained in first steps in music, conversational solfege, or we offer a 2-week course on what we just covered here. What we gave you was an hour of a 20-hour course. So if you'd like to learn more and experience that and get your improvisation going, come and join us at the Hart School during July 15th to the 26th. Thank you all so very much for coming out at 8:15 when we know a parade is happening and the river's turning green, so we thank you so much. And thank you so much to Dr. Fire Robin for being here with us today and for creating a beautiful framework to teach harmony and improvisation to our students. Thank you so much.
On behalf of the Organization of American Kodai Educators, thank you so much to both of you for presenting wonderful
Thank you
sessions.
so much. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Oh, can we do one thing real quick? I told my students where I was going this weekend, and they were like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So can you all just give a wave right now? And can I ask a favor? Can you say, good morning, Cos Cob? Can you do that for me? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning, Costco.
We should have sung it.
Thank you so much, guys. My students will be like, that's pretty cool. You're in Chicago. Thank you, guys.
Could you go down to discount code?
Of course. Please hold.
I didn't
Yes, yeah.
I didn't snap fast.
There you go.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, hi, yes, I've heard about you. Nice to meet you.
So I've actually tried this book a lot.
Okay.
I've done it in my folk band, upper grades. I've actually broken the rules and taken even my second